definition of B2B. B2B stands for business to business. In general, is a business interaction between different organizations is considered. So, B2B e-commerce is simply defined as e-commerce between companies. B2B e-commerce is short for business-to-business electronic commerce. It is the sale of goods or services between business through an online sales portal. It is used to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of a company's sales efforts, to maximize profits and improve market share. B2B is synonyms for integration and coupling of business process. Business processes cross boundaries of organizations. The process ownership must be clearly defined and assigned. It is also should be clear who are the owners of different sub-processes and how they have to coordinate their work. So the overall process owner may be a process committee consisting of all sub-process owners. If there is a process committee, then decision rules must be defined and agreed on by all involved organizations. Business rules cover decision rules for process management, rules for exception handling, a comprehensive data model including input requirements and output descriptions, rules for the operations of interfaces, policies for the usage of information systems, areas of responsibilities and accountabilities, and reporting lines. So the key success factors to the seamless business integration are organization and human being. So the following questions must be answered clearly. Number 1 is who is responsible, who is accountable. Next, where are the boundaries of management areas? What about the principal-agent relationship? Who is the principal and who are the agents? Do agents do what is best for the principal? Do agents share their information with the principal? And lastly, how can the principal ensure that the agents operate as he expects them to do? Next is, how can an ICT support B2B business? So this is done by the subsequently described technologies. One is EAI or Enterprise Application Integration is a sub-area of the B2B integration. It considers the coupling of database and or ERP system and it's mainly focused on technical issues. Next is portals are the user interfaces for an access to different application systems. So the suite of different application system behind the portal looks like one integrated application system to the user. In this area, the management of access right is a challenging task. Next one is ASP, or Application Service Providing. Provides software for users who are not mandatorily members of the same organization. With the emerging cloud technologies, ASP is more or less absorbed by SaaS or Software as a Service, where application services are technically based on cloud technology. The application may be provided by one of the participants of the B2B structure, but a third party may also provide it. ASP is a specific variant of outsourcing. Next is hub and cloud computing So there are 3 categories of cloud services available. SaaS, which means software as a service, PaaS, platform as a service, and IaaS, or infrastructure as a service. The cloud technologies can be used in-house, which would be somehow similar to the internal usage of internet technologies, that so-called intranet. In many cases, cloud services will be provided by a third party, the CSP or cloud service provider.
difference between B2C and B2B business. So these two has their own primary aspects, and the B2C are the following. First, the fundamental pattern wherein the cooperation is doing it one time and they focus on a single transaction only. Familiar examples of B2C company is the Amazon and Walmart. Then each transaction has to be executed. In here, you're gonna be strangers again because it says that as if business have never cooperated in the past and will never be partners and come again in the future. Something that you'll never met or transact on each other's company before. Next is, both business partners have to find out whether they want to conduct this transaction, which refers to the negotiation, the process of selling products and services, directly between a business and consumers who are the end users of the products and services. Both of them have to see that they will benefit from this transaction. They have to be positive thinker because the business target and the individual consumers only. We will call this as a win-win situation. Then we're here on the price matters. It says that it has to be allocated for each transaction specifically. It needs to be distributed, clear and exact during a negotiation. And last, primary aspect of B2C business is the appropriate payment method has to be selected, wherein the assessment of payment methods from supplier point of view is conducted due to a magic triangle, and those are acceptance by customers, protection of supplier against shortfall in payments and costs. Then B2B business primary aspects are, first, the fundamental pattern is ongoing cooperation. So this business is a transaction conducted between one business to another, such as wholesaler and retailer, unlike the B2C which is individual only. And then in here, business partners should not be strangers to each other after the transaction happened. Both of you must agree to cooperate sometime. Business partners have a conducted written contract. Of course, it is needed for both parties to show that the acceptance is received by the first one who sent the offer before anything else, and so the other one. I think this is what we call business partners agreement. Complex or large data which is difficult to process, using basic methods must be exchanged along the value cooperation chain, or the set of activities that an organization carries out to create value for its customer. There is an information process going along with the business process, like all the way to its delivery to the market and everything in between. Business partners with the specific objectives have to be cooperated. There must be detailed statement that describes all of their terms, and it should be organized also. So most negotiations of every business partners normally happen in the phase of business-to-business cooperation, and so the price allocation. And no one decision will cooperate for a lot of transaction or a long period of time. Payment is also done in B2B in most cases via common or a traditional payments channels. Sometimes these payments are not done for each single transaction unlike in the price allocation, but in the payments are the four assets of transaction of a highly basis. So we can say that B2B or business-to-business cooperation is a specific type of partnership, and in the most cases, other organization is agreed on it between different autonomous country regions.
Good day everyone. This is my report regarding to a strong business-to-business relationship. Now we consider a specific example of B2B integrations where both partners are strongly interconnected. The example is the cooperations of a supplier and the merchants. They have to work like a single and homogeneous organizations. There are fields of cooperations of supplier and merchants. The first one is the common strategic planning, where supplier and merchants have a strategic plan ahead of time. The second is supplier gets sales data from the merchant. Supplier get a monitoring sales data at a point of sales. Third one is optionally sales data. dito is, ang objective nila is to deliver the product just in time, or yung productions is just in time, to avoid warehousing and capital lockup. The fourth one is common forecast. Supplier and merchant, they both update each other and the department and every department para malaman yung forecast na nangyari ngayong araw and sa mga susunod pa. Para malaman nila kung ano yung mga dapat gawin or yung mga plan na dapat nilang gawin para mas maging maganda yung production ng kanilang business. The fifth one is the automatic initiation of orders. Dito is orders are generated by the IT system. So, hindi na kinakailangan ng human interaction. Kasi once na nagkaroon ng inventory and na generate na agad ni system na wala na pala yung isang item, is mag-o-order na siya. Kusa na siyang mag-o-order. And the last one is storage rack. So, dito naman is kailangan ma-monitor yung yung kalinisan and syempre yung kaayusan ng mga racks sa bawat stores and shops. There are a lot of advantage for the supplier. Just like supplier gets precise sales data. So, in every product naman is nagkakaroon ng development. Nagkakaroon ng development, mga like change in time, nag-i-improve yung production ng management, nag-i-improve yung mga marketing and advertising, and dahil din sa improvement na yun, nagkakaroon ng reductions or yung na-avoid natin yung pag-return ng mga shipments kasi nagkaroon ng mga development and improvement dun sa mga products na yun. On the other side, there are also a lot of advantages for the merchants, like the reductions of warehousing costs, saving of personal costs, transfer of logistic risk to supplier, reductions or even avoidance of out-of-stock situations, renting of storage space to suppliers.
Supply chain management is considered as the strong interlinking and coordination of all activities which are related to procurement, manufacturing, and transportation of products. So which means it is the strong interconnection and coordination of all activities linked to product acquisition, manufacturing, and transportation. The supply chain connects supplier, manufacturing shop, distribution centers, shipping companies, merchants, and customer through process like procurement, warehouse management, distribution, and delivery to provide goods and services to the customer. Meaning to say, to offer goods and services to clients, the supply chain connects supplier, production shops, distribution centers, shipping firms, merchants, and customer through operation including as procurement, warehouse management, and distribution and delivery. Supply chain management is considered a dynamic and ever-changing process that requires the coordination of all activities among all partners of the supply chain in order to satisfy the final customer and maximize total supply chain probability. So, Supply Chain Council or SCC, current part of APEX or American Production and Inventory Control Society, established SCOR or Supply Chain Operation Management as the cross-industry de facto standard strategy performance management, and process improvement diagnostic tool for supply chain management. Customer relationship management, we have strategy process. Examine the company and marketing strategies. Decide on customer classification criteria. Define the degree of differentiation in the product or service agreement and provide guidelines. Construct a matrix framework. Develop policies for communicating the benefits of process improvement to customer. And next is operational process. We have assemble a team of account or segment managers, conduct an internal audit of the accounts, look for business prospect with the accounts, and last is develop a product or service contracts. Customer service management, we have strategy process. Develop a strategy for a client service. Establish benchmark for performance and provides profit reports. Customer service management, we have a strategy process. Develop a strategy for a client service. Develop a method for dealing with a variety of situations. Construct a matrix framework. So next is operational process. Know what's going on. Consider the circumstances and the option available. And last one is place your solution into action. Demand management. We have a strategy process. Number one is decide on the goal and approach for demand management. Decide on forecasting approaches. Schedule the flow of data. And next is decide of procedure of synchronization. So next one is operational process. Assemble information and data, forecast and synchronize. And the last one is the improve flexibility while reducing variability. Order fulfillment, we have strategy management. Examine your marketing strategy, supply chain structure, and customer service objective. And the second one is establish order fulfillment requirements. And the third one is compare and contrast the logistic network. And the fourth one is make a strategy for completing orders. The next one is operational process. Number one is develop and communicate an order environment. Number two is make your selection. Number three is complete the order processing. And number four is work with paperwork. And number five is assist with delivery. Number 6 is complete the purchase order, and the last one is complete post-delivery action and track result.
I will present about the supply chain operations management framework covers several processes. Manufacturing flow management. There are strategic process and operational process. In strategic process is review manufacturing, sourcing, marketing, and logistics strategies. Is need to know the improvements of products or productions. Determine degree of manufacturing flexibility requirements is need to know the relationship between supplier and customers. Determine push and pull boundaries, identify manufacturing constraints, and determine capabilities. Is need to know the limitation of productions and to process the product. Develop framework of metrics is need to improve the process of productions. In operational process is determine routing and velocity through manufacturing. Is need to know the place of your business or the clients. Manufacturing in material planning is the illustration planning is important to know how to make a decision of the for the productions. Execute capacity and demand is to help determine the process of productions. Measure performance is also need to help to determine the measure of business and assess the current market. Supplier relationship management in strategic process is review corporate marketing, manufacturing, and sources is also need to know the movements of productions. Identify criteria for categorization. Supplier is need to know the potential of supplier. Provide guidelines for the degree of customizations in product or services agreement is to identify the process of product. Develop framework of metrics is to improve the process of productions. Develop guidelines for sharing process improvement benefits with supplier is to identify the potential of the production to the markets. In the operational processes, differentiate suppliers is to identify supplier to make to best service to the customers. Prepare the supplier or segment management team is to improve the delivery of products. Review the supplier or supplier segment internally is to ensure the higher reviews of supplier and good feedbacks of the customer about your service and products. Identify opportunities with the suppliers is identify the potential of supplier to equal of her retailer. For good negotiations to manage a business. Develop the product or services agreement and communication plan is required to provide a contract to secure your business. Implement the product or services agreement is also required to provide this agreement to for the product and services. Measure performance and generate supplier cost or profitability report is also used to measure and evaluate the increasing of profits. Product development and commercializations. In strategic process is review corporate marketing, manufacturing, and sourcing strategies is also need to know the movements of productions. Develop idea generations and screen processes is make a research about new idea to produce a new products. Establish guidelines for cross-functional product development team. Membership is required to find the good services and products. Identify the product rollout issue and constraints. This issue of the product is need to think how to solve. Establish new product project guidelines is create a new strategy to solve the problem of your business. Develop framework of metrics is to improve the process of your productions. Operational process is to define new product and assess it. Create a research to manage your new products. Establish cross-function product development team. Build your own team to help you to develop your business. Formalize new product development project. is create to design to develop a new products. Design and build prototype is create to prototype to develop your ideas for your new products. Make or buy decision to decide to plan to organize your business. Determine channels is need to know to understand the process of distribution channel. Product rollout is need to identify your goals to make a new product. And next is measure process performance. Return management strategic process is determine return management goal and develop avoidance, gatekeeping, and disposition guidelines. Develop return network and flow options. Develop credit rules. Develop secondary markets. Develop framework of metrics. And in the operational process is receive return request, determine routing, receive return, select disposition and credit, consume or supplier, analyze returns, and measure performance. Consists of 5 stages and focuses on the supply chain. There are plan, source, market, delivery, return. Plan is market forecast, procurement alternatives, manufacturing alternatives, delivery alternatives, and supply chain alternative is those are planning to developing a course of action using analytics. Well, source is material staging request, delivery of parts, material order. Materials delivery is what is planned you make or needs. And what to make is manufacturing order, and product order is made of production, and delivery is customer order. Delivery of customer's order is the service of suppliers or and make expectation of customers. And return is return or receive product from customers. The process of low quality of product, and the expectation of customers is not so good. A lot of information has to be shared among the supply chain members. There are inventory level, sales data, order status for tracking or tracing, sales forecast upstream to supplier, production or delivery schedule, order information share. In inventory levels is to ensure the demand and supply chain. In sales data is need to measure the product sales. In order status for tracking or tracing is need to know the detailed process of the product. And production or delivery schedule is need to know the time of release of the manufacturer. Order information sharing is need to know the information about the releasing of products.
Okay, so for the 4.2.1, which is the Enterprise Resource Planning or the ERP, it is a category of business management software typically suite of integrated application that an organization can use to collect, store, manage, and interpret data from the business activities, including first one is the product planning. So in product planning, this is the ongoing process of identifying and articulating market requirements that define a product's feature set. So the example for the product planning is the Samsung developing the new features of its unit or its phone. And the second one is the manufacturing or service delivery. These services should be delivered in an effective and customer-friendly manner. Third one, marketing and sales. So in marketing, it is building awareness of an organization to potential customer, while sales is turning viewership into a profit by converting those customers to an actual ones. Fourth one, it is the inventory management, and it helps companies to identifying which and how much stock to order at what time. And lastly is the shipping and payment. So in shipping and payment, the product will leave the supplier's warehouse, that is the shipping, while the payment, it is paying someone or being paid. Okay, so also ERP provides an integrated view of core business processes or processing, often in real time using common databases maintained by a database management system. And the ERP system track businesses resources such as cash, raw materials, product capacity, and the status of business commitments, including the orders, purchase, and payroll. Okay, so when it comes to the ERP, this also provide the following functionality. The first one is financial accounting, and it is include a general ledger, fixed asset, accounts payable such as vouchering, matching payment, and accounts receivables. Next one, the management accounting, and it is including the budgeting, costing, cost management, and also the activity-based costing. And the third one, which is the human resources, it is now come up the recruiting process, the training, rostering, payroll, benefits, diversity management, and retirement separation pay. And next is the manufacturing. This is come to engineering, bill of materials, work orders, scheduling capacity, workflow management, and quality control. Okay, then the order processing. This is the order to cash, order entry, credit checking, pricing available to promise, and such also inventory and shipping. And then the supply chain management. Okay, so the supply chain management, this is including the supply chain planning, supplier scheduling, product configurator, and order to cash. Also, we have here the project management, where in project management, it comes the project planning, resource planning, project costing, and work breakdown. Also, the customer relationship management, where it comes the sales and marketing, also the commissions. Okay, and the other two are the data services. This is the various self-service interfaces for customers, supplier, and or employees, product lifecycle management, or the PLM. Also, we have here the systems engineering, or the SE, where the product and portfolio management are including, also known as the PPM, by the way, and also the manufacturing process management, or MPM, and lastly the product data management, or the PDM.
What is supply chain management? It is the management of the flow of goods and services that includes the movement and storage of raw materials, work in process inventory, and finished goods from the point of origin to the point of consumption. It has been defined as the design, planning, execution, control, and monitoring of supply chain activities with the objective of creating net value, building a competitive infrastructure, leveraging worldwide logistics, synchronizing supply with demand, and measuring performance globally. As organizations strive to focus on core competencies and become more flexible, they reduce their ownership of raw materials, sources, and distribution channels. Its effect is to increase the number of organizations involved in satisfying customer demand while reducing managerial control of daily logistics operations. Less control and more supply chain partners lead to the creation of the concept of supply chain management. The purpose of SCM, or supply chain management, is to improve trust and collaboration among supply chain partners, thus improving inventory visibility and the velocity of inventory movement. SCM systems usually provide the following functionality. Demand and supply planning. This includes demands planning and forecasting, safety stock planning, supply network planning, distribution planning, and service parts planning. Procurement includes strategic sourcing, purchase order processing, and invoicing. Manufacturing production planning. Manufacturing includes production planning and detailed scheduling, and manufacturing visibility and execution and collaboration, MRP-based detailed scheduling. Warehousing includes inbound processing and receipt confirmation, outbound processing, cross-docking, warehouse and storage, and physical inventory. Order fulfillment includes sales processing order, billing, service parts, or order fulfillment. Transportation includes freight management, planning and dispatching, rating and billing and settlement, driver and asset management, and network collaboration. Real-world awareness includes supply chain event management, auto ID or RFID, and sensor integration. Supply chain visibility includes strategic supply chain design, supply chain analytics supply, chain risk management, sales and operations planning. Lastly, supply network collaboration includes supplier collaborations, customer collaborations, and outsourced manufacturing.
So I will going to discuss the supplier relationship management, or the SRM. SRM is defined as the management of the relation between an organization and its supplier. The objective is to link all the supplier to the organization to support the procurement management. For the total procurement process, SRM uses method and approaches of CRM, but now from the customer's point of view. SRM is a sub-area of SRM. An SRM system contains information about all source of supplies and all procurement information like derivable products, possible risk, terms and condition, or quality. SRM can be considered as an advancement of e-procurement. Added value is generated through bundling of all information about procurement and resource and providing it to the total organization. So here's the SRM system usually provide the following functionality. So the first one is purchasing governance that have global spend analysis, category management, and compliance management. And the second one is sourcing that have central sourcing hub, RFX, auctioning, bid, evaluation, and awarding. And for the third one, contract management that have legal contract, repository, contract authoring, contract negotiation, contract execution, and contract monitoring. And for the fourth one is collaborative procurement that have self-service procurement, service procurement, direct or plan-driven procurement, and catalog content management. And for the fifth one is supplier collaboration that have web-based, supplier interaction, direct and document exchange, and supplier network. And for the sixth one is supply-based management that have supplier identification and onboarding, supplier development, and performance management.
Marketplace. A digital marketplace is a piece of software with comprehensive e-commerce functionality. It can be characterized by end suppliers and end customers. Process and software are under control of the marketplace owner. It uses portal technologies and enables the cooperations of different suppliers and different customers. Providing and demanding organizations act autonomously. It is possible that members are at the same time providing and demanding organization. Marketplaces can be differentiated due to types of product or service, types of transactions, and functions. Due to the types of product or service, we consider tradable quantities. Transaction cost must be low according to tradable quantity. The specificity, a specific product with a low application potential has low market liquidity. The complexity of products. Complex products are not appropriate for electronic trade. Price components, consequences for the consumer, and the value creation. Due to the size of transactions, we consider the market liquidity, number of transactions per time unit, stage of transactions, meaning of transaction, durations of transaction, stability of a contractual relationship, transaction cost, profit margin, market model, degree of concentrations, degree of globalizations, and transparency of market. The main functions of a digital marketplace are the data management, pricing, buying, sales, stock exchange, transport, invoicing, payment. Additionally, all functions which can be offered centrally for various market actors, interfaces, provider, customer, forwarding and shipping agency, and other service providers, and insurance firms. Digital marketplaces are online platforms for both seller and buyers. They match buyers seeking a service or products with sellers or providers of those products or services. Business-to-business marketplaces, growth in sheer monetary potentials can be found among business-to-business marketplaces. Example is the Alibaba and Amazon business.
Good day everyone. My name is Benji De Mesa and I'm here to discuss to you the ECO framework. So there is a framework for electronic marketplace. It is called ECO framework. It has been developed between 1994 and 1999 by CommerceNet. It is an American industry association. So first, what is ECO framework? ECO framework is a framework used by an e-commerce company in order to make internet business and consumer dynamically come or working together. It helps in order to find a potential business partners to every commerce business. This framework consists of 7 layers. First is the network. This layer is provide a way to locate the market or communities of e-commerce on a network such as through internet, which business can interconnect to each other. Next is market. This layer, it allows every business to become group or working together through same area or location. Business. This layer, it provide different information of the firms. Next is the service. Each service offered by a business provides the ability for the trading partner to interact with that business in a different way. The next is the interaction. This layer is about how business partners can interact or communicate to each other. Next is the document. Complete document for specific transaction consists of different data elements. So the document consists of complete information or data elements. Data elements. As the fundamental element with a document, data element serves as a data or code to be used in a particular interaction. Challenges to successfully run marketplace are high complexity of process. Example is negotiation process, abortion of process, interaction loops, as well as economic efficiency. So these are the example of challenges that might be encountered to run a digital marketplace. First is the investment and depreciation. If the business volume is 10 euro and depreciation is 2 euro, then with 10,000 transaction, each transaction has to take 200 euro of depreciation. So, investment and depreciation, it's about how much investment volume ang kailangan bawasan when they use the depreciation. Next is the operating cost. If personal cost of 30 employees are 15 euro, then with 10,000 transaction, each transaction has to take 150 euro of personal cost. If other material costs are 100% of personal cost, then with 10,000 transaction, each transaction has to take 150 euro of other material costs. So dito naman is how much are material cost and personal cost in the specific question. Next is the access cost for participation and profit margin of marketplace operator. If 20% of the average of the employee capital are 5 million euro, then with 10,000 transaction, each transaction has to be take 100 euro of a profit margin. So dito naman is how to determine the profit margin of a marketplace operator. Next is the conclusion. When transaction costs are limited to 1% of transaction value, then each transaction consists have an average value of 60,000 euro. With 10,000 transaction, the market must have an annual volume of 600 euro. Dito naman is how to computing the transaction cost in order to determine the market annual value. So, these are the operators and initiators of digital marketplace. First is the third-party operators. In choosing the third-party operators, must be able to cover the capital needs and must have specific industry know-how and experience. Next is the consortium of supplier, which may induce legal issue through implementing a syndicate. So, the digital marketplace makes sure that the suppliers have similar interests and need in their marketplace. Next is the consortium of customer, which may be induce legal problem through implementing a syndicate. So it means that the customer should have a legal agreement or contract in purchasing in the digital marketplace. Mixed consumption and the digital marketplace should have a mixed consumption in order to address the issue in order to survive. Single supplier, which is just an online shop. Then the single customer, which is a procurement platform. Why are we not able to find a great variety of genuine digital marketplace? Why do marketplace fail? So these are the reasons why the marketplace failed. First is the technology is much more complex than expected by founder. Cost of IT infrastructure are underestimated. Project takes longer than expected and increased capital need. Next is complexity of a business process is undervalued by management. There is no sound background due to missing standard. Personal effort are significantly higher than expected. Marketplace is economically not attractive for potential supplier or customer. Fees are not cost effective. The business does not need an intermediate organization because partners come together directly using the internet technology. Next is specific business does not need a marketplace because of highly complex products or services. Next is the level of market liquidity is too low. That means the number of transactions per unit. Second is there is erroneous competition between different marketplaces. Next is sale and marketing efforts are too high. And the last one is the management does not have enough experience in the specific industry.
Specific functions and solutions. The B2B environment has led to many different and creative solutions in businesses. Sometimes organizations which originally were not logistics experts, examples are Procter & Gamble, offers warehousing and distribution due to the increase in the needs for logistics transportation. Also, application service providers offer deployment, hosting, and management of packaged software from a central facility. Outsourcing of functions in the process of e-commerce such as web hosting, security, and customer care solutions are offered by outsourcing providers such as eShare, NetSales, iXL Enterprises, and Universal. Auction solution software for the operation and maintenance of real-time auctions in the Internet is provided by companies like Moai Technologies and OpenSite Technologies. Content management software for the facilitation of website content management and delivery is delivered by companies like Interwoven or Procure.net. Furthermore, web-based commerce enablers like Commerce One offers a browse-based, XML-enabled purchasing automation software.